Well, it is probably a good thing that the upcoming week's reports are filled with potentially good news about the economy and virtually nothing about inflation, nothing about government spending, and only one Fed president giving a speech. Maybe we'll have a chance to actually relax for a minute. As we continue through August, the story goes that August is a slow month because of all the vacations. We know this to be true. It's slow for markets, it's slow for news, it's slow for business in some regards, in some sections, and then, of course, the markets. But it's also, they say, now this is something I didn't hear about before, it's also apparently a month where shifts sometimes take place in the middle of the month as we go back towards the fall. Could be a rotation. It could be the shift out of bonds into equities. It could be, there's lots of possible shifts that they could be talking about here. I'm hoping for and expecting a continuation of the idea that inflation is over, interest rates hikes are over, and the focus is now on the economy and what it's going to do in the next 12 months. Meanwhile, see my video from earlier today on the narrative shift that is likely to be happening at Tesla during the next 90 days. Huge. You don't want to miss that one. Okay, what else don't you want to miss? This is Randy Kirk. Like and subscribe and notify because, oh my goodness, this week we got this thing going. Scott Walter, Larry Goldberg, Brian Wang, all going to be on this week. You're not going to want to miss any of these. I've also got a couple more lining up, not quite confirmed yet, but you're going to, anyway, believe me, you want to hit notify, and then time to join Patreon. I'm in a little bit of a rut right now. Not too many people joined the last 3 days, so I could use you. You need to be the one right now. We could use you. Okay, let's get into it. All right, let's go right into the reporting for the week and let's see what's happening. We got nothing on Monday, zip zero, nothing on Monday, so nothing to upset the apple cart. On Tuesday, we have, again, business. We have U.S. retail sales. Well, last month, they were up 2%. 0.2%. This month, they're expected to be up 0.4%. Now, that'd be kind of strong. The Fed may not like that, but I don't think they're going to care. Now, you take away autos from those retail sales, same thing, up 4%. I'm sorry, I did that again, 0.4%. I mean, this is like almost 5%, on a run rate, your annual run rate. Then you do have one price issue that's going to be up. It's the import price index. That's expected to be up 0.2% also after being down 0.2% last month. So that's kind of a wash. I don't know if it's really going to be up 0.2. I really haven't paid any attention to that. I have no opinion on that. And then they also have the import price index minus fuel. That was down 0.4% last month. They're not even giving a guess on that one, but I'll report it when we get to it. The Empire State Manufacturing Survey was actually up last month, 1.1. I mean, that's like a 13% annual rate. They're suggesting it'll be down that same amount this month, so kind of a wash again. Business inventory is expected to be flat. We've had some other business inventory information, other people reporting on those that showed it was down. So if it's this one, it would be nice. I'd love to see this one be down a little bit. It was up last month. Then on Tuesday, Minneapolis Fed president does speak. So that's the one day that we do have to get a president speaking. We'll see. I don't know whether he's a dove or a hawk. I just don't happen to remember. When we get to Wednesday, we've got housing starts. All right. So these are a lot of housing information. Well, I see. That's, yeah. Okay. So we have housing starts and building permits. Both of those are expected to come in stronger than last month. This is something the Fed will want to see. We need more residential housing. So last month it was 1.43 million. This month, expecting just a couple 20,000 more at 1.45. Same thing on building permits, going up a couple of about 20,000 from 1.44 to 1.48. Those are nice increases, and they're still nowhere near what we need in order to take care of the problems that are out there, but there you go. Industrial production's coming in. Now, that'll be coming in later in the morning, so I won't be able to report that until Thursday, but industrial production coming in, suggesting is going to go up quite nicely at 0.3% after a down month last month. Then capacity utilization. This is an important one. It's supposed to get stronger, going from 78.9% to 79.1%. 80+% is continued to be pretty much full capacity. And then on that same day at 2 o'clock, we do have the FOMC minutes. They rarely move the market. Every once in a while, there's something in the minutes that is a surprise. I certainly don't think there's going to be any surprises this month. And we'll see, anything is always possible. You never know what might happen. All right. Thursday, we get initial jobless claims. Those are every week, of course. Expected to be down a little bit after the bigger print last week. If it stays in this 225 to 250,000 range every week, I don't think anybody's going to be terribly concerned. If it jumps up a lot, of course, that would be worrisome about the overall economy. If it goes down, the Fed probably likes it. Right now, staying in that range, I guess will be okay for now. We do have the Philadelphia Fed manufacturing survey that comes in on Thursday as well. That's expected to be down. That's kind of surprising. And then later that day, won't be able to report until Friday. I have the U.S. leading economic indicators coming in at 0.4 down. That would be, I think, 7 or 8 months in a row. I wouldn't be terribly surprised to see this one be a surprise. So we'll see what happens on that. Reporting this week in terms of companies is Walmart and Home Depot. Both of those are expected to do quite well, be beats. Of course, what everybody will be looking for is their expectations for the rest of the year. That'll be important, especially given that all the other kind of business information reporting that we have above. All right, from Yahoo, we have this on housing. Zillow reported that the typical asking rent nationwide increased 3.6 over a year ago, continuing a steady 17-month-long slowdown in the annual growth rate since hitting a record high 16.2% in February 2022. This trend echoes data from RealPage market analysis, which showed an even cooler year-over-year rate of rent growth at around 1%, the slowest rate since 2010, and signaling a potential drop into negative territory over the next month. So rents could go into negative territory. This is what I keep saying. Inflation is likely to go negative. We're likely to go into deflation by the end of the year or the first quarter of next year. Mark my words, that's what I'm saying. Our baseline, Yahoo continues, our baseline forecast suggests year-over-year shelter inflation will continue to slow through late 2024 and may turn negative by mid-2024. This is from San Francisco Fed economist Augustus Metz. They published this in a note published Monday. This would represent a sharp turnaround in shelter inflation with important implications for the behavior of important. It's 40% of the CPI. This is what I keep saying. I can't say it often enough. I've been saying it for months. This is what I expect. So 2 things can kill the bull: renewed worries about inflation, or interest rates, inflation, and the two go together, or concern about the economy going to a hard landing. Now, you get into too much deflation, that could also be an issue, but somebody needs to remind the market over and over again that if you have deflation because of increased productivity, that's a good thing. And I believe that's what we're looking at. Increased productivity, creating this deflation. And the housing situation is a market-based situation that has very little to do with the rest of inflation. Basically, you have supply coming in, you have demand coming in, and it's always mixing and going different ways depending on who's building or not building, and whether people are expecting to be able to fill apartment units or fill residential housing. And I just don't think the Fed can have much to do with it. They think they can. I don't think it has much to do with it, but that's just me. Okay, Truflation is currently showing 2.18, which is year over year, okay? Always when you're looking at Truflation, that's the year over year number. And that is a new beginning of downward momentum again after a month of going sideways. It's been sideways for a month, and now Truflation is going down again. The housing component could really help this along in future months. Oil and gasoline are the obvious big dinosaur in the room. We'll see what happens with oil going forward. So there have been, this is now Tesla news, multiple covered Cybertrucks have been spotted in the parking at Austin, and they're not covered with camouflage. They're covered with big old auto covers. It seems like things are stepping up. I think there was 9 spotted in the lot. And then some of those, I understand, were then moved off the lot. Anyway, it's so hard to wait for these Cybertrucks. Anyway, Optimus bots are going out to more Tesla showrooms. Scott Walter thinks these are probably actual products, not just models. That doesn't mean that they've got all the componentry ready to make them work. Certainly, they're probably not putting the chips in there, but it is interesting to see how many of these are going out and that they're probably actual bots. Zuckerberg has called off the fight with Elon. He says, hey, Elon doesn't seem serious. He's got all these injuries and problems and keeps on changing the deal. It'd be okay with me. They got all the publicity, and if Elon doesn't have to fight, so much the better. Okay, the market is up in pre-market across the board. Oil is down a little bit, but of course, the dollar is gaining. So that's probably the reason why the oil price down a little bit. Gold and all the commodities are down. Well, not all, most of the commodities are down, and the amounts would suggest that that's mostly because of the dollar. If this carries into tomorrow, if all this carries into tomorrow, this would be a really good way to start the week. Bonds are slightly up, but it doesn't seem to be affecting stocks. So let's go back. What have you missed? Well, what you missed this morning, because none of you watched it, because none of you ever watch any of my videos on marketing. Okay, some of you do. I think it got 12 views this morning, or maybe it was 1,000, but 1,000 views. Anytime I get less than like 4,000 or 5,000 views, I know I've got a failure. It was a really good video about marketing and about how it's time for Elon Musk to put together a PR department. They could do so much good work for so little money. It's just time. Elon, you're a PR genius. Go ahead. Let's put together a PR department. There will be, of course, a card above for those of you who want to add to maybe 5 more people or 7 more people watching that video. Then a few hours ago, I did one that's getting lots of views on the 9 catalysts. Listen to this now. The 9 catalysts that are coming in the next 90 days that will take Tesla to 350. Okay, I know I have my 300 number. I got there, didn't I? I mean, like within pennies. I got to 300. Then it fell off. I didn't predict the fall off. What I am now predicting is we're going to 350. Market or not, if the market goes down, I don't care. We're going to 350 because these catalysts are major. So many catalysts between now and November 10th. So that's my deal. 350, November 10th, because of these catalysts. Now, I'll continue to give some shorter term estimates when I feel confident in the numbers. Right now, I don't have a lot of confidence of which way Tesla is going to go next week. I could be wishy-washy and say, up, down, probably go sideways all next week unless there's some kind of an announcement. That's probably actually true, but it's wishy-washy. I don't have anything in my crystal ball right now about next week other than that. So I want to remind you again, and there'll be a card above with regard to that one that I did earlier today. The card above, by the way, I think is always on this side. I finally figured it out. Okay, as noted above, you just have to push notify. The stuff that I'm working on this week, I'm taking a deep look at Asia from a geopolitical, economic, demographic viewpoint, and even looking at the China-Taiwan war possibility. The first one was on Saturday with Larry Goldberg. If you didn't see that, you should go back and look at it. But then Brian Wang is going to come in, and he and I are going to take a look at China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. He was born in Hong Kong. He lived in Taiwan for a while. He has relatives in Hong Kong, China, and Taiwan. He knows the territory. Of course, I have a big background in China and actually a lot of activity out of Taiwan as well. Did a tremendous amount of purchasing out of Taiwan, and I've been there a couple of times. So I think we'll be able to give you a good look at what's going on there in general, what's happening with China, some big surprises. Like, for instance, do you know who China's top 10 trading partners are? I bet you don't. Anyway, that'll be maybe a surprise we'll give you in that particular episode. You want to see that, so please hit notify. You need to subscribe to hit notify. And then Larry will also be on with me on Tuesday on something he's been working on for 2 weeks. Larry Goldberg, He's been working on this for 2 weeks. It is going to be a bombshell. A bombshell. Yeah, that's what it's going to be, a bombshell. I'll be talking about that a lot more over the next couple of days. You can be sure of that. And of course, join Patreon. Lots of original content up there, lots of books that you can buy, any one of those four that you can get for free audiobooks for free when you join Patreon. All right, that takes care of Monday morning on this Sunday evening. It's been great talking to you.